Don't allow a lack of money to determine how big you dream. Dream big anyways. And I want to share a story from my book, From Red to Black. When I was on tour, my guitarist would always be super thrifty in making more money. I was always impressed when we were on the road. He'd be like, hey, Chris, can we stop at this place here? I got to pick up a guitar or two from this guy that I just bought off eBay. And then we'd be driving to the next show and be like, hey, dude, can we just stop at the post office? I need to ship these guitars. I already sold them. And I was just like, dang, dude, you're just like a machine making extra money and just being like super thrifty, you know? And speaking of thrifty, when we were on tour and stuff, I would always go to the thrift shops and I would always buy personal development books because I'd always be reading, educating myself, and here's my buddy hustling, making money on the road. But what I also loved about this guy is that when he was home, he had an extra room and he would rent it out and Airbnb it, and when he would go on tour, he would Airbnb both rooms. So he'd be making a profit every single month from the place that he was renting. He would sublet it. And I always just thought this was just really inspiring and how, you know, it's not about your resources, but it's about your resourcefulness. I was on tour one time and I knew it was time to make a new record. And so I was calling up my producer friend and he was super busy and he was just kind of like, I wasn't one of the biggest artists that he'd work with, but I really wanted to work with him. And so I was like, dude, what is it going to take for me to work with you? Like, what do you need? You know what I mean? I kept on throwing numbers and higher numbers until he would do the record, and he freaking did it. And that's because I was willing to take the risk. All right, I was willing to step out no matter what because I knew the value in good songs, and I just want to encourage you. Sometimes you got to risk certain things. Sometimes you got to be thrifty like my friend was. But also sometimes you got to take that money that you do make and you do save and you got to reinvest it in the right things. While we were on tour, we would sometimes share hotel rooms, sleep in, the same bed. Some of the guys that we had to one time just to get a room with 2 queens in it, and 4 of us would be in there and had to button the hatches on certain things so I could save money and invest it in the right things. And specifically for this story, it was for music. Okay, putting the money back into the music because I knew that the music was the fuel for everything else. And I talk about in my book that we decided to step out in faith with this music dream and even quit our jobs at one point. And I'm not trying to tell you to quit your job or anything like that, but I talk about in the book From Red to Black actually how we did quit our jobs and we went broke because we didn't do it smart. But the point is, if we never stepped out, we would never know. And I'm not telling you to quit your job right now, but I am trying to tell you, what risks are you not taking that you should take so that you're not wondering the rest of your life, what if? You can't keep doing the same things over and over again and expect different results. That's the definition of insanity. So I'm trying to encourage you today, what risk do you need to take? What step of faith do you need to take to really promote a song? Do you need to work with a certain producer? Do you need to get coaching or mentoring? Do you need to, is there a place where you can go on tour? Is there a tour that you can buy on? Because we're starting to open up in certain parts of the U.S. I'm in Canada here. It's like freaking lockdown China right now. But is there somewhere you can go where you can take a risk and move your music career forward? Otherwise, time doesn't wait. And I've learned from my own personal experiences, I wish I took more risks in certain areas. I wish I stepped out more and worked with that manager or worked with that team or really went all in on that YouTube ad or on that radio and pushed that song. Because you didn't make those songs just to sit there in the basement. You went to get them out, okay? So I've been talking about my book, From Red to Black, A Short Journey from Debt to Liberty. If you've not gotten a free copy of this, get this book. It'll freaking change your life, man, showing you how we paid over $30,000 in debt. Okay, some of the chapters here. You are called to live large, living in the red, the truth about debt, how to get back in the black. Okay, you got to get out of debt. Good habits of the rich and bad habits of the poor. Okay, $1 million life lessons I learned from playing Monopoly with my 4-year-old. Why I love Swiss currency best. Which Swiss currency, that stands for sales while I sleep soundly. As an artist, as a musician, you should know that currency better than anyone else because you put the work in and write the song first, but then that song continues to make money for the rest of your life, especially if it's a hit and especially if you promoted it. And that's why I want to show you how to do that in this book, From Red to Black.